testosterone, we have a problem.
This is Outside the Manosphere, where two guys grow their bromance,
non-toxic bromance,
their non-toxic bromance, by exploring masculinity, manosphere culture, and joy in the stupidest timeline.
Join us. Welcome to Outside the Manosphere. My name is Carlos.
And I'm Skip.
Our main topic for the day is control. But first, I already know that you don't have a news item, Skip, so I'm just going to jump in with mine.
Ready. Yeah, you jump in.
and not one ready. So my news item for the day, for the week, is municipal voting right now in the province of New Brunswick. So I'm going to do my civic duty, and I'm going to vote for councillors, and I'm going to vote for the mayor. And I'm going to tell you how I'm going to vote. I'm largely uninformed. It's early vote. It was early voting day before yesterday, and then another vote today. I'm probably going to wait until the 11th for which I'm not sure when this will be released. I guess just after that for day of voting, so I can kind of read up a little bit. Nobody has. They all have email addresses. Nobody really has websites. But what I am going to do as best I can. My town here has mushroomed with people and traffic since we first moved to New Brunswick. And it is just out of control. And like, there's a bridge out now, and they're not supposed to repair it for like 2 years, and it's a main thoroughway, and it's like, what the fuck's going on? So with that outrage in mind, if I see a re-elect next to somebody's name, they're not going to get my vote. They have shown that there's sort of a bumbling maybe of management here, and maybe that's super unfair, and I am going to do a little reading on each candidate before I make a decision. But I don't know. I feel like there needs to be some changes here. But that's my news item. There's municipal votings all across the province, and I'm very excited to do it. And that's what's happening in my neck of the woods.
All right.
Have you got anything yet?
So my news item for the week is something that I'd actually seen a few years ago, and I think it's kind of making a trend coming back on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok, but I saw a news story about it because that's how I roll. And it's called the bird test. Have you ever heard of the bird test?
No, I guess not.
So it's supposed to be like you're just on a walk with your significant other. And I'm not into like playing games, but I kind of like just the general sentiment of this. And like you guys are talking or whatever, and you say, "Oh, look at that bird," or "I saw a really neat bird," or something like that. And it's basically just kind of a proxy for reaching out for some kind of like connection or something.
Okay, a conversation.
And some kind of conversation or something you think is interesting that maybe isn't all that interesting entirely to other people. But you're reaching out for something, and like if they blow right past it, that's supposed to be like a pretty bad sign, because like they're not paying attention to things that you care about, or to these little branches that you're reaching out for with conversation. And if they do, on the other hand, say like, "Oh yeah, neat bird, huh? That's cool." then like it just kind of shows they're listening, and they appreciate that some experience that you had or something like that. So it's just kind of a fun thing. And I was thinking about how all the people in my life like birds. Like you send me bird videos from your backyard, and and Jess likes birds, and I'm like, oh, I would pass the bird test with the flying colors. Like,
yeah.
All the people in my life like birds, so maybe it's even broken for me because it's too important to the people that I care about. But I don't know.
Hey, well, no, you surrounded yourself with the right people, it sounds like.
Okay, all right.
You reminded me. I was on shift with somebody, and I was driving the ambulance, and I wasn't even aware I was doing it. But like she goes, "Do you like birds or something?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "You keep leaning forward and looking up into the sky because there's like eagles and shit around here." So and whenever I see them, I always lean forward and I check past the windshield so I can get a better look at them. But yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I've noticed birds my whole life, but I forget that that's not always a common thing. So I would absolutely pass the bird test for you, Skip.
Well, and it sounds like your coworker, I don't know if that would be a backhanded pass. Like she's noticing what you're doing. She's noticing that you care.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like what's wrong with you?
It was like a what's wrong with you? Yeah. She's like, do you like birds or something? I'm like, well, yeah, I do. Why? Why do you ask?
What's up? I like them more than the blank sky, I guess.
You know what? It was more than the blank sky. That's funny. Yeah, no, it was a wordless bird test because my body was asking the question and she was reacting to it. So I guess she did pass. I'll give that to her. This week, we are talking about control and possessiveness. That's kind of going to be, we're kind of blending our main content with a red flag today because I think it all just kind of comes together. And in this that's kind of self-explanatory. I guess my question to you, and I have things to say about it as well, and feel free to deflect this question, but have you ever experienced romantic jealousy over a partner? And or has that ever been directed at you?
I'm going to say yes to both. Yeah. Although as a younger man, much more the former. Like I was definitely could not control. We've talked about it before. Like when I was younger, I had no control over my emotions. And it's funny because like I've been talking with people now and I realize that I know plenty of like 40-year-olds that still don't. But I feel like, I have, I think what I'd call a healthy amount of just like not a lot of jealousy, but just like, hey, I know what I got, and I don't want people moving in or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I'm not like my wife can obviously have guy friends, and she goes off on trips on her own. It's not like a wild thing. But when I was younger, I definitely had some serious jealousy issues. Again, not like really controlling or anything like that, but like not able to emotionally handle it.
Yeah. And the other way, like if you're willing to like share anything like that.
Yeah, I've had women that were jealous of like my girlfriends that were jealous of my friendship with other women, and even men. Like I had a girlfriend that we were close to breaking up after like 4 years, and she wanted me to be gay so bad. She wanted it.
She's like, that has to be the reason.
She's like, yeah, it has to be the reason. But she also didn't like me hanging around with like some good lady friends. Right. So yeah, I've had it on both sides. How about you?
Yeah, same. Yeah, exactly the same. And again, like you, I know we have discussed this some time ago. When I was younger, mine was just, I think all jealousy is for the most part irrational. Not necessarily, but I think as a young man, I was just wildly jealous with girlfriends. And a friend of mine had put it best when we were, or I guess he's somewhat older. He was in his 30s. I was in my 20s. And we were talking about being jealous before. And he was like, yeah, I have been absolutely infuriated and enraged and gone insane at a girlfriend for absolutely no reason. And that's the worst kind of jealousy.
That's
because
wild,
it's like, yeah, there's no, and I had at that point in my life, I had been too. It's like, I'm so pissed off at you right now. And they did nothing wrong. It was just my own insecurity. It was just me manifesting some weird idea that they're gonna attract somebody else, or they were flirting or something like that. But I've never been a controlling guy, I don't think. And I guess jealousy can be regarded as possessive. I guess I could say maybe I've been somewhat possessive when I was younger.
Sure.
But never controlling. I never didn't allow. I definitely expressed, unhappiness over decisions, which I guess you could regard as controlling.
Yeah.
But I never was like, no, you're not doing this sort of thing. But something that I've been wanting to talk about for a long time, actually, because it was just kind of something that I clocked when I was younger.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I had those petty jealousies. You know what I mean? Like there was no reason other than I didn't know how to behave around this affection that was coming my way and that I was giving back, and I was afraid to lose it. Whatever reason, I had those petty jealousies. I've only had one instance in my life, and I don't know if we talked about it on the show or not, where I had a girlfriend who was absolutely making me jealous, and I don't think it was an irrational jealousy on my part.
Right.
I think maybe my response was a little insane, and I say that in the sense that I remember just being obsessively like wondering about her, and then like feeling dangerous, not towards her, not necessarily towards somebody else that I was suspecting of anything, but just feeling so unpredictable and just explosive in my mind. I'm like, this is really, really dark.
Yeah.
So those are the two kind of jealousies that I've experienced. And I know that's not control. but I think that leads to control, and I think that
Sure.
leads to possessiveness.
Well, I guess it depends on how it manifests. Like if you're using those feelings in communication towards a woman that's not doing anything otherwise wrong, just like your
Yeah.
feelings are the ones inhibiting her from living her life, then
Yeah.
I mean, I think like when you were talking, you mentioned something about insecurity. I feel like jealousy is just, it's about insecurity, and like
Yeah.
there's like the jealousy that I remain in possession of is definitely like my insecurity. Like I don't really suspect my wife would ever like do anything. She loves me, and she's a wonderful woman, and she's ethical and, you know, measured and all those things. There's just part of me that's like, I know how wonderful you are, and I suspect on some level, you know, I'm not as good as you think I am. And one of these days, you're gonna, you know, like there's some bit of worry that's like somebody's gonna come along that's like way cooler than me, and you're gonna be like, oh shit, that guy's better. And
Yeah.
you know, it's not gonna be your fault like that. But I think like I don't think that's a realistic fear. It's just, you know, something that's kind of that leftover insecurity. And when I hear guys in the manosphere talking about like women can't go out and women can't have any contact with other men and things like that, that all that is to me, it's just like all that control and possessiveness just screams insecurity.
Right.
Like, and like, even if you're a secure person, you're clearly not secure in your relationship. And like, that's something to deal with on the relationship level, not just like smash it down as an angry jealousy thing. I don't know. What do you think about all this nonsense?
It is nonsense. I'll say that. I mean, I think so in the past, and that's really all I have to go on is my own personal, because I think jealousy is something that you rarely see out in the open.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I keep going back to jealousy because that's my experience. Like I said, I've never been controlling. I've never been like overly possessive about anything. But I think, like I said, jealousy leads to all that. And I think that you don't normally see it on public display. You don't see, because it's like a tantrum. You know what I mean? And it's usually from a man. Not always. I mean, women could be just as jealous as men, but it's like it's a really ugly thing to see, and it's an ugly thing to exhibit. And that's why I think it really kept under behind closed doors.
So as far as kept behind closed doors, I don't listen to a lot of Manosphere podcasts, you know,
Sure.
but I did listen to some podcasts that were Manosphere podcasts, like literally called Manosphere podcasts or something like that. And one of them, you know,
I applaud you for that, man, because there's no chance I'm going to be doing that. Even for like, if you put a gun to my head, I'll have to. But like, I have no interest in that kind of research. But please continue.
No, it was wild, and it was just kind of like a view. I didn't continue to do it, but like, you know, one of them, the guy was talking about like, your woman can't go out and dance. She can't go out and dance with girlfriends because like, and it was clearly based in jealousy and absolute lack of faith in relationship or women, which is just, it's just wild because it's like, it's super controlling, super possessive, and all those things come out as dominant traits when they're so insecure, when it's such a massive amount of like your girlfriend or your wife can't leave the house and go dancing with her girlfriends, even at a woman's night. What's wrong with you? Why are you so like emotionally weak that you cannot handle a couple hours being away from your significant other, where she has a little bit of freedom and is surely not doing anything bad? And if she is doing something, like, you need to work on the reason that's happening, not like not like just keeping her in the house so it doesn't happen.
Using your dancing example, I would bet an arm that the people who have difficulty with that can't dance. You know what I mean? No, but really, like there was a period, like I love fucking dancing. And
are we going to wind up back at Patrick Swayze here?
Yeah. So Patrick and I love dancing, dude. But I didn't dance until I was in Prague. I don't know what unlocked. Oh, you know, I know exactly what unlocked. I took salsa dancing lessons there, and I don't know, I don't know what changed for me, but I started dancing. I didn't dance salsa. I just like would go to Lucerna and dance to 80 songs with Jody and a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so much fucking fun. But before then, I was the asshole, like leaning against the wall with his beer, looking at girls. because I couldn't dance. I couldn't get it. That's where the action was. Get out there and dance with them. But I couldn't do it in my mind. And therefore I wouldn't do it. And being a younger person, if I had a partner who was interested in going to do that, I'd be like, no. And the reason is because I couldn't do it. You know what I mean? And I imagine a lot of these things are like, well, you're about to go do this thing, be it dancing or whatever, that I can't do. And you're going to realize something about that dynamic and you're going to leave me, or you're going to find someone better that can do these things that I can't do. And whether it's education, whether it's, like I said, dancing or anything, it's just something. And I feel like it's just another glaring insecurity that maybe these guys haven't examined. If they would all just go to Prague and dance to 80s music in Lucerna, I feel like these things would go away.
So that makes sense, because I still don't like to dance. It's not like, I think that I actually can dance all right.
I would be shocked if you couldn't.
In the sense that I think that anybody can dance. So I think that people, when they dance, just look silly. That's just how I feel. No matter how good you are, it's all just kind of silly. And like, I love it for other people that enjoy it. And like, my wife's going out dancing with some of her friends. They even invited me, and I was like, I don't know if that's a great fit. Like, but I'm also not worried about her dancing and enjoying herself. Like at our wedding, she went and danced with her siblings and like friends, and me and my friends kind of like sat at the bar and talked. And like it was like, we're both doing things that we enjoy, and I'll go and dance with. I will dance with my wife, like I will, because she likes doing it, and But it's not for me. But that doesn't mean that like she can't enjoy it. And I guess that's where the security is, right? Like, she can go out dancing with her friends. I don't want to go dancing. So go ahead, go out and have fun with your friends and dance. It's no big deal.
What do you think then about, because now I remember what I was going to say before, was what do you think about, like, so in the past when you had a girlfriend who was jealous of your relationships with other women, how did you sort of mitigate that? Were you like, tough shit, like these are my friends? Or were you like, I get it, maybe I'll scale it back a little bit, or maybe I'll like, tickle them less, or like, maybe make less physical contact or something, you know what I mean? Like, how did you manage that?
I love that your idea of me being friendship with women is me tickling them.
Isn't that how men and women interact?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think, for me, this is going to be no shock talking about it. Just talking about it and be like, like, this is my friend. Like, there's nothing going on. I love you for these reasons, and blah 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 blah. And like, I understand like why you have like feelings of worry, but like the only thing I can do is reassure you, and I'm not gonna like not be friends with somebody,
right? Because
it worries you. Like, if there was good reasons, like if I think there's, so like the one time with my wife where I said, I'm not comfortable with this, is where she had a student that had written her for years. And it was like pretty clear that this kid was in love with her. And I was like, this makes me uncomfortable. Like this, this dynamic I don't feel super comfortable with this. I'd appreciate like maybe backing off of this thing. But most of the time it's like, you've just got to have some security in your relationship and trust, like, people are going to have friends. And I mean, like, it does happen. Unfortunately, it does happen where people become friends and they fall in love or whatever. But like, the way to manicure that isn't to stop having any potential for them meeting anybody they might possibly be attracted to, and to work on your relationship and to make sure your relationship is strong and that they have a reason to be attracted to you. If you're not having an emotional connection or whatever, work on that. Don't just like be like, no, you got to stay in this shitty relationship.
Yeah. I think back also like that one relationship, and it was just the one woman who made me feel like insanely jealous. And I say she made me feel because she did make me feel like it was a kind of a reverse sort of roles where she was gaslighting me. I say reverse, and that men usually gaslight the women, but she was gaslighting me. And I only know this years later. I'm like, oh yeah, no, this was clearly I was being manipulated. But it fucks with you because you're like, oh, my intuition is completely wrong. No, and I remember thinking like, no, like she's just unlike other women that I've ever met. Like this is not happening. This is all in my head. And she's denying. I mean, I don't know that she was cheating on me or anything, but like her behavior anyway. I'm like, this is not a flirtatious thing. This is not like, this is just me. I'm misinterpreting all of this. And like, it's a really, really like sick place to be in your own head. You know what I mean? When you're like doubting your own eyes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it fucks with you. And I think there are partners that are responsible for that. But I think by and large, especially when it comes to men, we just invent shit out of whole cloth and like, and make it so. Which leads to, let's go into some of these bullet points here. Somebody telling their partner, typically a female partner, what to wear because it's not feminine enough, or it's too sexy, it's too feminine. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think this gets down to, so jealousy is like one of the reasons for maybe control or possessiveness, but this is controlling and possessive. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of fraught for me. Like, I don't tell, like, I would not tell my wife what to do, but I might give her a hard time if she's wearing something real out of sorts and be like, what's going on?
Let me ask you though, where would the problem be for you? And this isn't confrontation. I'm asking, like, because I have the same situation in my mind, and I have a clear deconstruction of it. But I want to know, like, where's the problem for you? If she's wearing like a revealing outfit, like where do you take issue with that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just part. I guess I consider it part of our like private things that are within the bounds of our marriage. Not like you can't ever get naked or anything, like doctor, locker room, thing like that. But just like, I also would not, like, I don't know, wear booty shorts around around ladies or men for that matter. I don't know. I think there's just like there's things that, for whether it's social mores or whatever, like it would just be out of character for the person that I know, and in our marriage I'd be like, what's going on?
I just wanted to point out though that you not wearing booty shorts is really denying the world something special, Skip.
Well, when I was younger and single, I had some real short running shorts that I loved wearing, but I got nice legs, man.
That's so funny. You got long legs.
Long, beefy legs. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, so I've clearly put on display some of my toxic, possessive, controlling traits. How about you? Do you have issues with this stuff?
No, I have none. Next. No, I'm just kidding. I think so. In regards to controlling, in regards to possessiveness, in regards to jealousy, at this point in my life, I don't at all. I don't think. Now, if Jody were to start spending time with a man, and he became like a point of conversation often, I'd be like, hey, what's going on here? Like, are you guys, like, why are you always talking about this guy? And like, in fact, she has because she runs a lot. She's a runner, and she has very few runner friends. There's this one guy she's met. She's always talking about it, and I'm like, well, you guys sound like you're really hitting it off. Like, I'll like feign like over the top jealousy. Well, that sounds great, you two. Why don't you just go fucking get married? I'll have like an explosive joke sort of response. But if I detected like a real too much of an interest, my radar might be blipping or something like that. Yeah. I might say something, but like, I think about like all that we have together. We have our home. We have even our stupid pets. You know what I mean? We share so much that I'm like, I mean, come on, for her to blow that up. And again, not even with this guy. That's not even the issue. But I'm just saying a hypothetical thing.
In general, yeah.
Yeah. If she were to blow that up, like, what a fucking mistake that would be. You know what I mean? And I would regard the exact same thing with myself. Like, would I just her family? Would I really want to like not know her family anymore because I couldn't keep my dick in my pants? You know what I mean? Like, it's not worth it. You know what I mean? And that's definitely a big change from when I was a younger person. But which is a whole other toxic trait. But yeah, as far as jealousy, as far as control, as far as possessiveness, I don't have that. Now, the thing that I wanted to say before was about like what would be your issue with if Jess or whoever was wearing something revealing. I mean, quick aside, would you have a problem if one of your sons, not the little one, but your teenager was wearing something a little too revealing? Would you have a problem with that?
I would definitely give him the same type of hard time. I'd be like,
Okay.
what is going on here, buddy? Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, so I think of an ex-girlfriend of mine she would dress really, really flashy, really like whenever we'd go somewhere, it'd always be like she's going out to like a club or something, which I don't care. But she had really, really big breasts, and she would wear these big, busty, like cleavage exposing clothes. And I was never jealous about it, but I always took issue. I'm like, and here's the reason. And maybe it's selfish, maybe it's like, I don't know, cowardly. I don't know. I was like, you're going to get me into a fight because guys are going to be gawking at your tits, and it's going to be disrespectful, and I'm not going to be able to ignore it. And like, it's not that I would be like, oh, she's going to run off with this guy, or she's going to delight in all this attention. It's just like, I'm not going to be able to ignore men gawking at her breasts. And that was the issue I took with it. It wasn't that I was like, this is too revealing. It was more of like, this is going to create like attention, and I don't want to, and to ignore it, I think, like, I don't know that I could do that. I mean, that's probably the healthier thing to do, but like, I don't know. I don't do that to women as I'm passing by and, they're hand in hand with a man. And I mean, even if they weren't, like, I'm not just going to stare at their breasts as they pass by, but men do that. You know what I mean? And like that was always like an issue I had. But yeah, currently Jody's a very modest person. So if she were to go out there, like, in booty shorts, as you described earlier, I'd be surprised. And I think I'd be okay. I was like, all right, well, if that's what you want to do, now it's like, well, all right, if you want guys looking at your butt, then that's going to be your day. But yeah, I don't know. I think I've come a long way in that sense. And like, I honestly, unless it's like there's men whistling or whatever, if someone, if something like catches their eye, I mean, guys are human, but if they turn their head and they start following her, that's a whole other thing. But
sure.
Yeah, I don't think I would be as reactive as I would have been way back in the day.
Yeah, I think again, like, a lot of this comes down to, like, if you're really genuinely worried that your girlfriend or your wife is going to like run off and cheat on you because of how she's dressed, then like there's bigger problems than her clothes, and those are the ones that you need to deal with. Like, like there's other stuff going on or not going on in your relationship that you need to deal with. So
right. I also think, I mean, like, to credit Jody, like, I have she's never ever given me a reason to doubt our relationship, to doubt her affection for me, her love for me.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming it's the same. I know it's the same thing with Jess. So I think that's a big help. Like, if she were presenting any kind of behavior that was like, make me question any of that, then I think that I'd probably, that jealousy would simmer back to the surface, because I'm a human being. And
then you'd really have to deal with it.
then the hammer would drop. As far as like girlfriend, I've had girlfriends in the past that were jealous with me, and when I was younger, I just kind of rolled over and like, okay, I'll stop that. I'll make it better, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And more recently, I mean, recently is relative, but I think because of what I learned from past relationships, I'd be like, hey, I'm not doing anything wrong. This is your problem. And it's probably a cold way of dealing with someone's like insecurity. But I'd be like, hey, I'm not doing anything. And I kind of stand by it, because I'm like, I'm not doing anything wrong. And you're forcing me to shift my behavior over absolutely nothing. And this is uncomfortable for me now. Like, you're making this hard for me, and I'm not doing anything. This is unfair. I'm not doing anything wrong. So in my later years in dating, I would not tolerate any kind of, I mean, unless I was being like a fucking scoundrel and giving them reason to be jealous. But like, if I wasn't doing anything wrong, I'm like, this is your problem. Don't dump this on me. I haven't done anything. So, which I kind of stick to that being healthy. I think it's a healthy response. Maybe not as kind as it could have been, but definitely healthy.
I don't think with jealousy, I haven't had that situation, but I definitely have struck that note with certain things in my life, with relationships that were not so healthy as this one, where I was just like, this is not my fucking problem. Like, or especially where it was like, look, like, we had a conversation. I was honest with you. I told you things, like, and so in the past, one very unhealthy relationship that I was very much like that, where I was like, this is not my problem. This is not my fault, was with my ex-wife. I would communicate honestly and clearly. And I would say, like, is there a problem? Is there anything I can do? We'd try and talk. And then, like, later on, it would come out that she had lied and she hadn't told me there was a problem. And it's like, this is not my fucking problem anymore. I tried, I reached out, like, I wanted to open communication with you. You decided not to communicate, like, about something, and then you got mad at me ex post facto. And it's like, that's a problem with the honesty in the relationship, not with what I did. Like,
Right.
if we want to deal with that problem, okay. And similarly, I think the one time I actually have ever had a woman do anything related to cheating on me was towards the end of my marriage, my first marriage, at which point I was like, God bless y'all.
Yeah.
Anything to help this thing end. Like, there was no jealousy. It was kind of like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
This makes this easier. Please go
Yes.
off.
Yeah. I've had those toxic relationships. I'm like, man, just go fucking cheat on me. That'll
Right.
simplify this greatly.
Yeah.
Well, what about, so going back to control, what about, well, okay, so I'll say this. Jody has full access and she did not request it at all.
Mhm.
This was just protecting our marriage in every way possible. She has full access to all my passwords. If she wanted to access my emails, my messenger, she can absolutely do that. Now she knows that I wouldn't be happy about that, but because it is a privacy thing. I have private conversations. I'm not hiding anything, but like I'd like to be able to be free to converse with people. But again, if she were doing that, well, then something's wrong in our relationship. So I don't know. How do you feel about monitoring, or like men monitoring the social media and, like, people's phones and stuff like that?
Yeah, again, I think it's like a symptom, right? Like, it's a symptom of something else. And, like, the thing that is causing that behavior is the problem. Because I'm in the same boat as you. Like, both me and my wife, theoretically, we have access to everything of each other. But I don't really check any of her stuff. I don't think she does mine. And if one of us were to start digging through the other person's socials or whatever, I think the thing that I would immediately go to is, like, why is this person, whether it's me or her, feeling that this is necessary for any reason? And like, what is going on that we need to deal with? Because this is just a symptom, and it is a violation of privacy. Not that, like, I mean, I think we're in the same situation where it's like, if my wife was like, I want to look through all your stuff, I'd be like, okay. Like, it's I don't have any secrets. It's a little weird that you're asking. We might have a talk about that later, but like, fundamentally, I don't have a problem with you seeing all of it. Like,
right. Same.
So I think all these things, it's like, these are the red hot symptoms of something else. And like, if you hurt yourself physically and you're bleeding everywhere, like, there's pain, but the thing you do is to, like, sew up the wound. You don't, like, just be like, I'm going to take pain medication and do nothing else.
And let it fester.
Yeah.
Well, so we were going to talk about, kind of as a main content today, financial abuse, which I think we went pretty long with this red flag, but I think it's all connected to controlled possessiveness. How many women in your life have you financially abused, Skip?
All of them. I try and abuse every financial person I can. No, I think we need to start off by defining financial abuse. So do you know what it is, or?
I've got a loose understanding. It's when somebody controls all the finances. Maybe they have the only source of income, and they kind of regard that as like their means of controlling the other person. It's like, well, if you leave me, how are you going to survive? Or it's my money, I'm earning it, therefore you can't make purchases without my approval, sort of thing. What is your understanding of it?
Yeah, so it's all of that. And then there's kind of an array. So usually they are in, like, kind of total control, and they definitely do check out all the purchases, which I will just say, I often do check out purchases just because I'm doing the budget and I'm trying to, like, categorize expenditure. But it's not in any, like, you can't spend things. You spend whatever you want. I want to know like how much we're spending so that I can plan for the future. Like, you also, as I was looking into this more, you find that, like, people will inhibit their loved ones or their wives or girlfriends from being able to have reliable transportation to work, so that they can't have a job, or so that it makes it more difficult for them to keep a job or make enough money in order to survive on their own. And sometimes the women do have jobs, but they just have complete control over all the expenditures in it. And it's surprising that one of the things that I was reading said that even though it's hard to see, it's one of the most pervasive forms of abuse. 99% of domestic violence cases, 99% of domestic violence cases have financial abuse in them.
Oh,
But
wow.
like people that are escalating to hitting and other and emotional abuse or whatever, they've long ago in some cases taken other
Control.
forms of control. And
Right.
like it's one of the dangers, what there's all these people that are the trad wife movement and the trad wife influencers who incidentally are making a lot of money for pushing that, and that is a
Right.
job. They're the ones pushing women to be completely dependent,
Submissive. Yeah.
submissive and dependent on men because they will have no options. And as a guy coming back into the workforce after years taking care of kids or whatever, it's way harder. It's way harder, and it's hard to get the kind of jobs that you would have. It's hard to get, move up. It's hard to like re-enter the workforce in a place that you deserve or where you make enough money to support yourself, especially if you've got kids. So yeah, it's like it's a real like trad wifing is legit a real danger if you're not absolutely 100% certain of your future with somebody and that's what you want to do. Yeah.
Mhm. And it's a surrendering of your own control because, if they're control. I guess trad wifing, I don't think is necessarily a negative thing. If, as you said, you're sure of the relationship, which I think anybody who gets married is sure of the relationship. You know what I mean? But I think a lot of people are a lot of men. Well, whoever's in control of finances, they're not mature enough necessarily to not abuse that sort of control that they have. So before I go off rambling, like
Yeah.
I wanted to give an example. When we first moved to New Brunswick, so when we were living in Prague, we weren't married, Jody and I, but we were equals. Like we're making basically the same money. It would fluctuate here and there, but we were doing the same job and we had the same money. Moving here, Jody got a job. It was just at a cafe. It wasn't like it was, anything super professional or technical or anything, but she was making all the money. She was paying all the bills. I was,
Yeah.
putting in little bits here and there where I could, but like I was completely at her whims if she turned terrible.
Right.
But she's exactly the instance that I'm talking about where she not once, not at any time was she like, look, I wasn't super spendy anyway, but she was never like, I'm making this money and you're spending, and what are you doing for the house? Or she never ever made me feel like it wasn't our money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now that our roles are reversed, she's taking some time off because that's essentially what I was doing. And I'm working.
And you let her hear about it every day.
I'll, you know what? I will nag her a little bit here and there when I see like all the little Amazon purchases. It's like I say, as death, where I say you're killing us with death by 1,000 Amazon purchases. But it's never like serious. You know what I mean? It's never like, there's never any anger. It is I'm making the income right now, but it is absolutely our money.
Yeah.
And I think that we have a really, really healthy financial dynamic. But I think there's a lot of men who they would start a new career. This is my first real career. And suddenly be like, I have a career now. I'm making money. I'm supporting my wife. I'm paying for this house. Me. And you need to appreciate that. And therefore, we're going to discuss. There's be a dynamic change.
Yeah.
And I think people just, it's not that they're inherently bad or anything. They just don't catch it. And they don't realize that they're doing this. And then it just spins out of control. And then suddenly they're tyrannical and they're, my grandfather.
Well, yeah, like I agree that, if you want to be a trad wife, or as I call myself, a trad dad, and that's like what you genuinely want, and there's an agreement, you don't feel like you're, being taken advantage of. That's great. That's great. That's a choice people should be able to make. But the people that are feeling pressured from like social influencers and things like that, it's important to realize those social influencers definitely have a job. The top earning trad wives the top earning trad wife, which apparently is like Hannah Nileman of Ballerina Farm or whatever. She makes $850,000 a year from TikTok alone. And some of these people, they're like multimillionaires. They're working very hard. They're not trad wives at all. And their job is to make people feel shit, like feel like shit for doing the thing that they're doing or not doing the thing that they're not doing, which is just crazy. And a lot of these influencers, I mean, if you see somebody that's influencing on trad wives or trying to tell people they should be trad wives, they're making money. That's part of how they're making their money, and it's part of what they're doing for work. They're not trad wifing. All that shit's production value. Like,
yeah. I guess my takeaway of this whole like TikTok trad wife thing is we gotta get on TikTok, bro.
Right?
$800,000. My God,
I know.
Yeah, and I guess it is hard. I guess it is work. I mean, they're constantly online and constantly doing something. Man,
it's so much work. It's so much work. But trying to make other people feel beholden to a life that you're not living at all in any way. And like, because a lot of times, and it's not necessarily in any case, but not just financial abuse for people that get stuck in this situation, but a lot of times they're being controlled in a lot of other ways. So they're also very alone, It's not just like you can't go out and dance with your friends. It's like you don't have any fucking friends.
Right.
And you're not allowed to do things. And so you have no way of escaping. And that's what financial abuse is all about. Financial abuse is all about making it so someone can't escape. And that's like just beyond anything with jealousy or anything like that. It's like you are chattel and you're my chattel, Yeah.
Yeah. There's no better way to describe that, actually. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. So red flags, control. If you got a person, whether it's a man or woman in your life who's, dictating who you can talk to or monitoring your social interactions with people, that is a bright red flag that can lead to things like financial abuse. You give them that, it's just gonna escalate from there. What do you think about green flags? Skip, you got any green flags?
Green flags. So my green flag is it's kind of funny because it's sort of almost goes in hand with the controlling bit, but not really. It's like it's people that check in with their significant other about things. I think that's a green flag. Whereas I know that there's like, it's not about controlling. It's like, for me, it's like, I consider myself in a partnership. I'm just going to check in with this other person about something that affects our life. And it doesn't mean that like, if they're like, if I want to do something, I can do it. And if she wants to do something, she can do it. But, it's a nice thing to consider if you're in a relationship with somebody and you plan on spending your entire life with them and sharing all these things, it's nice to think about them when you make decisions sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think you should have to check in about like everything, but like, if there's plans or something like that, it's good to just like get a temperature check on things, I think.
For sure. Yeah. For sure. Yeah, I agree.
How about you? Do you have a green flag?
Let me think. I don't have a green flag.
I have a red flag as well. So one of my red flags is people that say no drama. Those people,
they say actually verbalize no drama.
Yeah, they actually verbalize. They say they hate drama. Generally, I have found people that go out of their way to make that statement very much drama people. Yeah. The kind of people where it's like their friends are like always like things are always happening to them. There's always shit going on with them. And like those are the kind of people that say no drama and like everybody's like, it's never their fault. Like it's always things happening to them. And you start to like look and you're like, actually, I kind of think a big chunk of this stuff is their fault. Like
maybe they're no drama aspiring, and that's why they say it. Yeah.
No, I just find that people that are like very like fervently, oh, I'm a no drama person. Those are the people that bring the drama. Those are the people that are like, I'm going to say no drama so that when something happens, I'm going to make a big dramatic show about how I don't like it because it's drama. And it's like, it's kind of like that same thing we were talking about with alpha males or badasses. Like the badass isn't the guy that comes in and is like, I'm a badass. Look at my guns. It's the dude sitting in the corner quietly. That's the motherfucker you got to stay away from. Like, Yeah.
Let me think here. What is my green flag?
Butt stuff.
Butts. If he's interested in butt stuff, he's receptive to butt stuff. Oh man, I guess it's a low bar, man. I guess well, no, it's not a low bar because you can have a job and still be waving red flags. But if he's had a steady job, that's something that I think is a green flag. Because I've had tons of fucking jobs and none of them were steady, and I probably wasn't the best partner at that period in my life. But having a steady job, I think, is a green flag. And of course, their life circumstances are going to blow you out of the water, and you're not going to be able to keep a job or whatever. But having a steady job, I think, is probably a green flag, which is kind of a no-brainer as well. But anyway, that's my green flag.
Oh, that's a good one. I someday aspire to be have that green flag.
Oh, but yeah, sorry, dude.
It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, you're a stay-at-home dad. I mean, that's your job. Don't cut yourself short here.
No. I've had lots of jobs. I'll admit, like, this is definitely a red flag. Like, if somebody wants pure stability and like the same thing from day to day, I'm probably not the guy for them.
Well, and again, same. It's not having multiple, because I've had a million jobs as well, as I just said, and I know you have, and I don't think that we're toxic guys. I think I was definitely more toxic in the past, and I think you probably were too. But like, just because you've had a bunch of jobs doesn't make it a red flag. I just want to say that having a steady job
definitely
is a green flag, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and I've got. It's not like I don't have money coming in, so I have a little bit of reason for rolling around and trying to find something that I like more. But I think the best time to be my partner was when I did have a steady job. So I agree. All
right, good.
I'm willing to admit I've got a light pink flag there.
It's again, it's not a red flag to not have a steady job. Yeah. And again, I don't think, like, I wouldn't say it's a red flag for a woman to be at home with the kids.
Sure.
I don't think that's a red flag at all. Like, so why would it be for the other gender to be doing them as in a partnership?
All right, Carlos, it's our favorite time of the show. What's your joy this week?
My joy this week, as I was telling you just before we started recording, I finally cleaned out my garage. It was a disaster, and now it looks beautiful. That's a very brief, quick joy that I just finished today. Another one is that I recently received a book about remote viewing from a publication called Center Lane Books. And Center Lane was the first code name of the U.S. military remote viewing project they had. They had like 6 or 7 different names for it, but the first one was called Center Lane. And now there's a publishing company producing books on the subject. And I always buy books on remote viewing and this kind of stuff because I feel like they're going to be out of print at some point because there's not a huge demand for them. So whenever they're there, I'm like, snag. And also these guys are like elderly, you know what I mean? So they're not going to be around long. And then the whole like process and principles of the whole thing are just going to get convoluted and lost. So I always buy the books.
You're going to have to take over. You're going to have to be the guy writing the remote viewing books then.
I'm just hoarding these books, and maybe one day when I die, somebody will take them that'll appreciate them. So, and then the last thing, and that's a real joy to have. Like I've bought 3 books so far. I've only read one of them, but I have them. So yeah, I'm happy to have them. And the last joy is that I said early on in my news item that I am going to be voting in municipal election here. But also just today, I requested my ballot for the U.S. election, the federal elections for the midterms today. So I think the deadline's like August 1st, but I'm like way ahead of it. It's the first time I did it via email. And I instantly regretted doing that because I think Texas requires a confidential envelope. And I don't know. I'll get all the details whenever they send it to me, but it's going to be electronic. And I don't feel great about doing that. I wish I had done the physical one, but done. And it's a joy that I did it. So yeah. What about you? What's your joys? Joys.
I guess for parallelism, I didn't clean out a garage, but I cleaned out part of a barn attached to a cottage in the Czech countryside for some friends. I helped clean out their cottage, and it was just nice to go to a cottage and do some like manual labor. I got to swing an axe and split some wood, and like those things just feel good. It was nice. I hadn't been to a cottage. Like, it's a big thing in the Czech Republic for people that wouldn't know, to go to the cottage on the weekend. And we don't have a cottage, so sometimes we are dependent on the kindness of Czech strangers for such things. Yeah, so it was nice to go out to the cottage and be out in the nature and have no Wi-Fi and no phone signal, and that was good. And we put in an offer on a flat to potentially own if we can qualify for the financing. It's a huge step for us. Rent is real high, but buying is even higher, so price-wise. So it's a real stretch, but we're hopeful that maybe we can, live in a place that we own someday here. Maybe it'd be cool. So those are my joys.
When will you find out more information on your offer or your qualification for the loan?
The offer looks good. We got to figure out the financing and if they'll accept it, because we're in like a weird financial boat where our money comes in the US and not here, which makes it hard to prove our income here and things like that. So it's a pain in the butt, but hopefully it's a pain in the butt that is successful. And we're doing everything we can to make it so.
Well, I got all my digits crossed for you.
Thanks for joining us. New podcasts every Wednesday. And if any part of this show has resonated with you, let us know at outsidethemanosphere@gmail.com, Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. Please rate, subscribe to the podcast YouTube channel, or recommend us to a friend. Hasta la pasta.
Mission accomplished.